There's a lot happening right now in Saluki Athletics and a lot of optimism in Saluki Athletics. As the head man, the athletic director here at Southern Illinois University, Tim Leonard, joins me as our main topic of conversation today is the Pride of Little Egypt, the new NIL Collective that just got launched this week. We'll get into that, but Tim, I know it's busy right now. We got softball fighting for a championship today with their first game in the tournament. Track and field's going off this weekend. Of course, baseball have their championship later on this spring, but you haven't had a lot of time to breathe this spring, but overall I know softball has definitely been the main exclamation point this spring. Just an awesome spring for Coach Sewell and her program.
Yeah, she has done an unbelievable job. And think about it, in her second year as the head coach here, last year she goes to the NCAA tournament in her first year. This year we win the conference tournament regular season for, I think it's the first time since like 2010.
Yes.
I mean, she is crushing it, and really excited for her, but most importantly, really excited for the team. Ladies have really just been able to focus on playing softball and, eliminate distractions as best you can and just play softball and just go.
You talk about high expectations for all the teams and all the programs, and they have high expectations internally. I know Coach Nagy, from a basketball perspective, has really hinted at in a lot of interviews we've done is winning regular season championships are hard. And no doubt,
really
the automatic big, no question right now, goes to whoever wins the postseason tournament. But for you, when you look at it and you see what Coach Sewell's done, of course, last year a lot of injuries impacted their season, but then got hot and healthy at the right time. But do you kind of put the same emphasis, too, of we all know, get into the big dance. That's important for all the teams. Men's golf, too, Coach Fetcho, what his group's doing. But also winning regular season titles may be the hardest thing to do for any of your teams.
Absolutely, and that's why I don't know that people understand how difficult it is at this mid-major level, right? Because you can win your conference championship and still not make it to the tournament. Right? I mean, if you're in the Big 12, you just got to finish in the top half, right? And people are going, hey, we finished fifth in the Big 12. And I get it. Those leagues have a lot of resources, but it's all relative, right? Everybody's got the same amount of resources in those leagues, and it's so much easier to get to the postseason because you don't have to win the regular season, and you don't have to win your conference tournament. Here, you got to win the conference tournament, one, to get to postseason, and to get to the conference tournament is so much easier if you're first or second because it gives you an advantage getting in there and into the tournament, right, from a seeding standpoint and all those types of things. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and that's our goal, is to get to the NCAA tournament and as many things as we can. And we were talking about this in staff meeting this week. You know, I had, in our all-staff meeting back in August to the whole department, I challenged everybody and said, look, our goal this year is we want to get to the postseason, NCAA, for 3 teams, right, this year. That'd be our goal. Be a step up from the year before. Let's show improvement. Let's get to 3. Well, if softball does it, we'll have hit 3. Football made the NCAA playoffs. Golf, as a team, made the NCAA tournament. And then if softball can do that, then, yeah, we'll have hit that goal. And then, obviously, next year I want more, right?
Yeah.
As I said, I'm a glutton for winning. I can take winning all day long, every day, just nonstop. So the more of it, the better.
Look, you brought it up. I mean, what Coach Fetcho's done is 4th regular season championship since taking over originally. I know he had that stint when he left, but came back. Edward able to win the individual title, which was the first time in program history. We talk about how hard it is to win a regular season. It's really hard to win an individual championship, especially in men's golf. Those areas may not get a huge spotlight throughout the year, but as you said, that's a huge honor point for you as the athletic director to see what Coach Fetcho and his guys are doing as they get ready to compete in the NCAA regional.
Yeah, I don't know how much of an honor point it is for me, but it's a huge honor point for Justin and his team and his players. I mean, they're the ones that have gone out and earned it and done it. And what I like about it is it just, I'm trying to build that culture of competitiveness that, hey, look, we're going to go out and we're going to compete, dadgummit. We're going to go out and try to win. And we've got a couple of programs that are already there, right? They've responded well, and I've accepted that challenge. And the goal is we want to get everybody there.
Everybody knows that in this day and age we talk about NIL, and that's what the basis of what our conversation getting brought to you today is this week. Able to announce the new NIL Collective that's coming out, the Pride of Little Egypt, which we'll have all the information with it here as well. Let's start from this topic of conversation first, Tim. There's been a football collective with the Football Alliance. There, of course, has been the basketball collective in the past with Floorburn U. The importance of having the Pride of Little Egypt where it's all encompassing, why that's important, and really what comes with it other than just it's a new collective.
Yeah, I mean, this was something we've been talking about now for several months. And that was, we would just kind of started trying to figure it out where we were go, and then we made a coaching change in basketball, and so it kind of got pushed to the back burner until we got that done. And then, you know, in this day and age, you make a coaching change, it means you're going to bring in 10 new guys, basically. And when we had to move quick. And then now we're behind the 8 ball, right? Because I felt like a couple years ago when I first got here, right, we were okay in the collective space in comparison to the rest of the league. You know, we weren't doing anything spectacular, don't get me wrong, but nobody was really doing much. On the basketball side, I think Drake and Bradley were probably ahead of everybody the last couple of years. And then there was groups like us that were kind of, okay, we're getting into it and we're growing, and then there was people that really weren't doing much at all. And then, you know, moving forward, then it was like, okay, we got to change this. Plus, the rules had changed, right? 2 years ago, it was hands off. We can't really have anything to do with it, but yet you trying to have as much to do with it as you're allowed to do. So you usually have some people outside the university are going to do these things. And, you know, the football one, we did it with some alums and kind of a grassroots thing. The basketball one was kind of a combination. We had hired a group that does it. It was pretty hands-off, and we weren't that aggressive with it. And then the trend had kept changing to where we can be much more involved in the process, much more engaged in it. We had looked at the possibility of taking this all, quote-unquote, in-house, right, being more engaged with it in terms of, hey, look, we'll provide the infrastructure for it and try to do some of these things. We weren't ready for that. We had hoped, and then we realized, okay, we got to go. We got to go now. We're already going to have to play catch-up now because we got to recruit so many guys. So we partnered with this company called NIL and really liked what they were doing, and it gives us an opportunity to, I mean, they can handle contracts, they can handle the subscriptions, they can handle issuing the 1099s to the student athletes, and obviously the way to go that the trend has been now to quit doing these one-offs for each sport and try to do one big overarching encompassing collectives that we can use for each one of our sports. So that's where we're going, and it just seems like, boy, these last 2 months have been so intense between doing a coaching search, getting a coach here, and then getting his staff on board. Help, you know, not that I had to do much with helping them on with the roster, but then all of a sudden it was like, okay, the collective is top priority, and trying to figure out what direction we go, and then we got to get it up, we got to get it running, and so I feel like I've only been to a couple softball games and baseball games and everything else because it's been so intense on those areas trying to get everything done, and obviously the launch of the Pride of Little Egypt has been was exciting for me just because we've been working on that so much in the last few weeks trying to get us there, and now we've got it up, we've got it running. So far I've heard nothing but positives. We got a long ways to go, but I'm excited about the direction, and yeah, I think it's going to put us at a competitive advantage. And as I told Coach, my commitment to you is we're going to get you the largest collective in the Missouri Valley.
You talk about the goals that you have for the collective, Tim, and one of the areas you're able to feel really confident about those goals is, of course, you need help. And Banta has been a big part of that, part of the new restructuring of the naming rights agreement for the arena. They are chipping in money for this NIL collective. How did that kind of all come about, and how huge it is to have the support of someone like Banta to really recognize what the climate's like in today's day and age and saying, this is a good idea where we can put this in our agreement.
Yeah, first off, you can't ask for a better partner than Banta. I mean, they have been tremendous on this, and they have gone above and beyond what they're supposed to do on their end of the deal. We just got to keep doing. We got to uphold our end of the deal with these guys because they have been awesome to work with. And Jeff May, their president, CEO, has been awesome. And so we were at the midway point of this, and then it was a chance for both sides to determine, hey, are we going to extend this another 5 years? And we both wanted to, and that was something that we brought up to them was, hey, how about we put some money into this because this is really important to us if we want to win ball games. And they went back and talked about it, came back to us, said, no, we totally get it. It's, I think it'll be good for them too because obviously the more successful we are, particularly in the basketball sports, the better exposure they get. So they're jumping in a big way for us. I just couldn't be more thankful, but excited. I mean, that you have a community partner who understands how important Saluki athletics is to this region and wants to invest heavily.
You mentioned the confidence that you have of moving forward of just with all these pieces, of course, with the website getting launched this week, all of that comes to where it just helps to continue to push this thing to where you have to make that a priority for you that you got the coach found, you got all these things, different checklists. I mean, how important is this collective? How important is NIL in terms of things that you push when you go out and you talk to donors, when you talk to supporters throughout this community?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much right now all we talk about. And it's kind of a two-headed, I don't know if you want to say monster, but kind of a two-headed approach, right? We still got to raise money for the athletics department because we still got to operate, give out scholarships and build facilities and travel and recruit and all those things. So we still have to generate more money in fundraising. But now we have this collective that, our goal is to have $500,000 a year, and that's in today's dollar for men's basketball. And we'd like to get our collective up to a total of $1 million a year for all to spread out over all our sports. And that's in today's value, right? As soon as we get to that point, somebody else in the valley is going to be going, well, if SIU did that, then we got to do more. And then it just becomes this constant, that's just the world of competition. We're always trying to get better than our competition. And so, yeah, we got a long ways to go. I think we have gotten off to a good start on this, but that doesn't mean we're there. And there's still some good programs in the Missouri Valley that, we want to beat them, just like they want to beat us.
Yeah, and I'm sure you hear it too, probably way more than me when you go out to where it's all the Saluki takeovers, all the different programs that we've had, really trying to get people pumped up for what's to come. I've had so many fans come up to me, and they're intrigued because they want to help, whether it's $5, whether it's $10, whether it's more gifts a month to be able to do it. They're like, hey, whatever we got to do to help, we want to try to find a way to help. Do you get that same vibe when you go out, regardless of who you talk to, whether high-level donor, low-level donor, mid-level donor, doesn't matter. They're just coming to you being like, hey, where do we need to go? Where can we help? Because we just want to help.
Yeah, no, I get it all the time, and that's why I feel like, the plan was to try to have all this, whatever direction we were going at the time when we were first starting to talk about this back in January, for March, to launch a new thing to kind of as soon as the basketball season would end and coaches would be able to know what our plan was and how much money we could get in there and so forth. And then it got delayed with a search. So then it was like, and everybody's going, hey, we want to help. We want to help Coach Nagy. We believe in Coach Nagy. And so, we've been playing catch up here for a little bit and playing from behind, I guess. So, yeah, people have been wanting to do it. My mother is here, and she's all about reading this Saluki Insider thing. And she's like, Tim, the Insiders want a collective. When are you getting it up? And I'm like, Mom, I know. I hear you. We're getting it up soon. And so, She texted me last night after the storms, was going, the insiders are excited about the pride of Little Egypt. I'm like, good, Mom. I'm glad you're happy. So,
all important things, no question, moving forward to it. You, of course, talked about Coach Nagy. Of course, for everybody, it's a new age in terms of just how crazy the recruiting cycle can be, and the roster's still getting together. But just overall, of what you could say over the month and a half, almost 2 months that Coach Nagy has been here, just as the leadership communicating with him, what have you been pleased about, just what he's been able to do, and trying also what you see as your role for him right now to just kind of help him and his staff navigate these times?
yeah, I mean, I think my role with him is no different than any other coach, right? It's to I'm not here to get into X's and O's or telling him how to run a program. If that's the case, we'll be in trouble. You know, my role is to try to help them where they need help, right? And the biggest thing they need help with is resources. And so that's what I got to do, is figure out how can I get them more resources, how can we get them the things they need today, you know, and then do it in a short period of time. And the coaching staff that he brought in has been tremendous. I think they work really, really well together. And Coach Nagy has been awesome. You know, he's old school in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways he's pretty progressive too. And as I like to call him, he's Mr. Excitement. That's sarcasm. I told him, I said, I got to come up with a name for you. I told him, it's like Don Rickle was known as Mr. Warmth. I said, I got to come up with a nickname for you. So I think it's going to be Mr. Excitement, because he's so kind of low-key, even-keel, doesn't get too excited. And but that's what I love about him, right? I mean, he knows who he is and plays to that, to his strengths, and surrounds himself with people. He always jokes that he doesn't like to talk and just likes to stay in the background. Now, that's somewhat true, but if you get him talking about basketball, he's going to get going there. But yeah, I think that staff he's put together has been tremendous. So,
just overall as an athletic department, about to get here into the summer, like you said, hope softball can keep playing for a while, have some really good success here into the summer. But as you kind of put the cap here on this year, and as you get ready for the fall and get ready for upcoming here in the next couple of months, what's kind of on your agenda, just the calendar of the summer that you really have your eye on and that you're trying to get everything ready for when we get back and rolling here in July and August?
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of behind on planning right now for next year. You never have enough time to try to get organized and plan when, you know, at this level you don't have a ton of resources, you don't have a ton of staff. So, because once the games start, you're not doing any more planning. It's all about execution. So we only got a couple months to try to figure out what our plan's going to be, how are we going to get tickets sales going and increased, and doing those things. And like you say, I mean, I feel like these last 2 months have been more reactive than proactive, between the coaching search and getting them in place, and then focused on the collective. And I've been playing from behind a little bit, just because of the timing of all this and how it worked out. So now we got a lot of work to do to get ready for next year, and you know, what are we going to do that's different? Because that's always my goal, right? I don't want each year to be the same from a fan experience, right? Every year I want to try to do something that's bigger, better, and then see how they work. Some things work, some things don't. Some things are kind of, you know, and so we got to still figure all that out, because September is going to be here before you know it, and we're going to be playing football games, and, you know, we start playing soccer and volleyball games in August. That's right around the corner. And I'm telling you right now, I'm tired, and at some point I need to get away from here and take a little vacation and try to recharge. So, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of work to do this summer.
A lot of work to do, but a lot of optimism, as we said.
Yeah.
You can just clearly sense it throughout Saluki Nation right now, and a big part of it is fans just want to help. And like Tim has talked about, prideoflittleegypt.com is where you can go to get more information on the collective and how you can help the guy sitting across from me and help us all have smiles as we go throughout the year for Saluki Athletics. Tim, really appreciate the time. We'll no doubt have many more catch-ups, I know, over the summer before we get rocking and rolling in the fall. But a lot of good things happening right now. Let's try to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. And yeah, next year, like you say, I want to be a glutton for victories and winning, and hopefully we can get 4 or 5 NCAA tournament appearances next year.